Yeah, cool. I'm starting to share my screen right now. Just do let me know once it's visible. Okay, sorry. I guess I had to join in from another browser. I was not able to share from there. Yeah, finally, problem sorted. Yeah. Guys, do let me know once my screen is visible. It's visible? Cool. So, welcome to this particular demo session on Certified Network Defense Professional course. Okay, so before I deep dive into the contents and what all we will be covering, I would quickly just like to give an introduction of myself, very real quick. Just a minute. Yeah, so that you guys are aware about who am I and what I've been doing so far. So my name is Urvesh, and so basically I belong from a cloud security operations background, currently at Informatica, and I have basically working in the field of cybersecurity since nearly 4.5 years now. Major of my experience eventually comes from these kind of training sessions as a cybersecurity instructor. Yeah, apart from my day-to-day job I'm mentioning. Okay, so I have been associated with SIM Intelligence since quite a few time now. Like it's quite a been years that I've been associated with this SIM Intelligence company, and I have cleared few of the industry relevant certifications like CHFI, ETHP, CTIA, ECIH, CND, uh, DCPLA, and various many other certifications. Basically, I have cleared out, right? So apart from that, I have been working with different organizations as well. So I have worked in the areas of web application testing. I've worked in the areas of cybercrime investigation with government sectors, with private investigation agencies, and so on. But if you ask about the verticals, so major of my verticals belong to the blue team or cyber defense domain. Okay, wherein we talk about SIM, SOC, all these kind of areas, cyber defense, right? So this was just a quick introduction about me. Now, talking about SIEM Intelligence. So, SIEM Intelligence is one of the leading training providers in cybersecurity. We have a big pool of infosec certified instructors who are working day in day out for providing one of the best content out there, be it any kind of a cybersecurity domain. Now, SIM Intelligence specifically focuses on the defense aspects of cybersecurity verticals. Okay, so the ones who are basically looking forward to enhance their blue team skills basically enroll with us in SIM Intelligent courses. Okay, so coming to the course, like introduction part and what all we will be covering, right? So I'll be taking you through all the topics that we would be touching upon. I'm pretty well sure you guys must have seen this particular slide as well. Probably you could have, got this syllabus already from uh, anyone from our team, basically. But from an instructor's point of view, what all basically I'm planning to cover up, that all I'll be telling up in this particular demo session. Okay, so I assure that the demo session won't be too big, it won't be too boring as well, and yes, there is time slots available for Q&A as well. Okay, so starting off with the table of contents, we'll be focusing upon the module 1, that is introduction to network infrastructure and its security. Okay, I'll annotate alongside. Okay, so basically, be it any course, like even if you enroll in any of the course, any how much ever expensive it is, the initial modules are always okay. I'm not able to annotate, no worries. So the initial modules are always focusing upon the introduction aspects. Okay, correct. So these introduction aspects over here, we will be covering about what exactly does a network infrastructure mean, okay, how it is useful, and what are the security terms or aspects associated with the network infrastructure and its security. Okay, so the initial module will be covering about theory, that how does a network work, what are the different layers, what layer what operates, basically the fundamentals that you are already aware of. But again, these fundamentals are very crucial for building up the ground for the later part in the course, right? So nothing fancy in module 1. Starting off with network defense in module 2, here we'll be understanding various terminologies, various aspects, various terms that are coined towards network defense. Okay, so how does it help, how much important does it have, why network security is important, all these concepts will be tossing upon in the module 2. Okay. Module 3 focuses towards network infrastructure defense needs and requirements. Now, we all are aware that depending upon what kind of infrastructure does the organization have, what kind of basically tool sets that an organization have, based on that, the defense mechanisms or the defense approaches, they keep on changing. Now, again, it all depends upon the budget, depends upon the requirement, it depends upon the tool set and all those areas, right? So the module 3 will be about understanding the fundamental needs and requirements for a network defense, right? So what all things do you need? What all criteria you should have? Like what all tool sets must be taken into consideration while keeping network security in importance. Okay. Then the fourth topic will be covering about infrastructure security and defense fundamentals. Okay. Now, when we say about infrastructure security, we are referring over here the entire infrastructure as a whole. Okay. Discussing about the various aspects that are taken into consideration in terms of deploying a corporate infrastructure. Okay. Now, the reason I'm talking about infrastructure over here in specific is because network itself is a part of your infrastructure. Network itself is helping you to connect your infrastructure, right? If two devices are communicating with each other in your infrastructure, it is because of the network, right? So we need to understand the underlying infrastructure as well, and what network or what types of network and how the network is configured or how it is used basically to make it communicate within each other. That is what we are aspiring in module 4. Now, module 5 is all about improving the security of IT infrastructure with network traffic monitoring. Now, basically, we'll be, if you see, if you go down for each and every module, we have subtopics mentioned over here, right? So, as I was saying about module 5, right? So, we'll be understanding about traffic analysis over here. What kind of network traffic do we have? How do you monitor network traffic? How do you know network traffic analysis, right? So, all those concepts that we call as packet analysis, Wireshark, right? These things would be covered up over here, right? So that is about module 5. Similarly, if we go up to module 6, that is network security threats, vulnerabilities, and attacks. Here, we will be trying to focus from the adversary point of view, from an attacker's perspective. Okay, so what are the different types of threats, vulnerabilities, or different types of well-known attacks that are targeted towards the network side or done via the help of network infrastructure, right? So this is what Model 6 will be covering all about. Be it what kind of vulnerabilities could be there, be it any kind of how do they impact the severity, all those aspects are covered in Module 6 over here. Improving the security of IT infrastructure with host security. Now, Module 7 specifically focuses upon the host. Basically, here I'm specifically mentioning about the endpoint over here, right? So, what role does an host play when it comes to network security? What is the importance of host security when it comes to networking, right? Then, how do you prepare a baselining, okay, for the host security measures to be taken into consideration? So all these kind of aspects would be covered within the module 7. Coming to module 8, which focuses upon the Windows operating system. Okay. So here basically we have our Active Directory lab. Okay. So in this particular module 8, we will be describing specifically about Windows hardening, Windows baselining, be it sys benchmarking, or any other kind of baselining that are popular right now for Windows hardening, right? We will be understanding upon different aspects from an Active Directory point of view, that how do you secure up your Windows operating system, or you can say Active Directory, based upon different measures that are available today. So be it password policy, be it firewall, be it log reviews, be it logging, uh, authentication, user authentication management, right? Creating a secure file system sharing procedure. How do you end up, bringing up into consideration for bit lockers, right? So all these kind of measures and pertaining to Windows operating system security, we'll be covering up in the module 8 over here. As long as we have Windows over here, the second most important operating system that comes into account when we talk about uh, let's say host or an endpoint is Linux, right? Either companies majorly are using Windows or Linux or the combination of both, right? Even in Linux, we are not limited to Ubuntu, it's Red Hat, CentOS, right? Amazon Linux. So here Linux again, we will be focusing towards the Linux operating system, its hardening, its security when it comes to safeguarding from network kind of an attacks or making the system more prone from the bigger attack surface. That is what we'll be covering up in the Linux operating system IT infrastructure security in module 9. Okay. Module 10, we will be trying to focus upon the Windows operating system again, but with some enhanced topics, be it group policies, be it WSAS, be it EMET, all these kind of aspects. Now, again, the criterion of the topics model wise is done based for your understanding. Okay. So, generally, what we try to follow up in our classes is we basically cover module 8 and module 10 along with each other, because as we are talking about Windows, I don't aim to break the linkage between the modules by introducing Linux in between. However, the documentation that you are seeing is based purely upon the course content curriculum for presenting up to audience like you. Okay, so yes, when it comes to actual training, we would like to cover Windows operating system, that all the parts that are there together as a whole, right? So the series of sessions, including module 8 and 10, would be covered in the live sessions, right? Now, talking about Active Directory, when it comes to an Active Directory point of view, then Active Directory as a whole, what are the different kinds of security measures, security attack vectors, different kinds of things that you could basically consider of when we talk about Active Directory. What are the best practices? What are the most harmful practices at the same time? And how does it link up with the network security in general? That is what we are aspiring to cover in module 11. So, just a point to add over here, you can see that from the initial module, right? Leaving module 1, 2, and all those things, right? From module, let's say 3, 4, again, 3, 4 again are a bit theoretical where we are talking about CIA triads and all those other aspects. But coming especially from module 4 and 5, right? From these module onwards, you can see major of the topics are inclined towards practicals, right? So, in no sense that I am or we are mentioning that the course is more theory, less practical. Yes, I agree, theory is there and theory should be there. I won't say that there is no theory at all. Theory will be there in each and every module, to be honest. But again, that theory is technical theory that is important to associate with the practicals. Okay. But then the point to be noted over here is that from module 4 or 5 onwards itself, we are starting off hands on, right? So it's not something that we are wasting much of our time in boring theoretical sessions. We do have tons and tons of practicals. Just to give a bit idea, let's say if I'm talking about module 5, traffic analysis over here, wherein I'll be providing you actual hands-on about how do you do packet analysis. I'll be providing you with a handful of PCAP files for your practice as well. So wherever possible, right? So we have CTF kind of discussions as well, right? So if a PCAP file is provided by me, there would be a certain set of questions that would be there, which you guys need to basically analyze from the PCAP file, and you will be able to answer those questions, right? So those kind of interactive practical assessments also are included in this particular course. The reason behind this is no one should ever feel left out, or like it should not be such that okay, this guy is a trainer, he's being paid and trained for this thing, so he knows everything. It's not like that. So I ensure that you guys can also perform the practicals alongside, even if not alongside, at least after the session ends, right? So that would be the objective of this particular course and its practicals as well, right? Coming back over here, so module 12 is again specifically about routers, because again routers plays a very important role in terms of networks, right? So how does a router work? How does a router patch management work? What are the common threads within routers? How do you do the router logging reviews? And what are the best security practices and hardening approaches when it comes to securing routers for network infrastructure? Over here, module 13, we are as inclining towards network architecture, we'll be understanding about switches. Okay, so over here, the first and foremost important topic would be understanding Cisco switches, basic configuration of them, right? What are the CLI operations? What are the SNMP protocol operations? What are the AAA services? What are SSH and its security implementations in switches? So all this basically uh, important aspects when it comes from a security point of view for switches. We will be targeting all of those aspects in module 13, specifically pertaining to network switches over here. Okay. Module 14, here we talk about VPN. I'm pretty well sure that most of you guys would be working, right? Now, after I basically conclude the demo as well, I basically generally want all of you to interact with me. So actually, this was supposed to be done before the demo starts, but I just thought of presenting myself first, giving you an outline, and then having an introduction and interaction with all of you to understand what are you guys working in and what are your expectations from the course, right? So I'm pretty well sure if you guys are working, right? So we often use VPN when we basically use our work environment. We want to use our company's environment. We connect to VPN, probably Okta or something. And how how do they improve the network security? What are the underlying architecture about VPN? So understanding VPN security is the target of module 14 over here, right? So how does it play an important role? What are the best security practices? What are the best rules and configurations checklist when it comes to VPN and its security? Network, again, a network security course cannot be complete without a firewall, right? So firewall is module 15 over here. We'll be understanding implementation of firewall. We'll be deploying our own firewall as well. Yes, practicals are there for firewall. We'll be understanding firewall rules, testing the firewall rules, creating best rules out there, basically in a proper fine-tuned manner. How do you analyze the firewall logs? What are the firewall security checklists or hardening controls? So that all is included in module 15. Module 16, we include endpoint security. Here we introduce the term EDR over here. Okay, endpoint detection and response. So module 16 is all focusing upon how endpoint security is crucial from a network standpoint, from a network point of view. Correct. So what are the different threats that are pertaining to endpoints? How does an EDR work in place? For EDR also, we have a lot of tons of options, right? So we can go through with Elastic EDR, that is from Elastic Security Elk Stack. At the same time, let me just quickly show you off one thing. So like some of the practicals when it comes to EDR and all those things, right? We will be doing all these practicals in a cloud environment. Again, you can replicate the same in your virtual box as well, or VMware workstation. But just for using the cloud in purpose, we'll be using DigitalOcean. So you can see Vazu is there, so we can equip Vazu as one of the EDR plus SIM solution to be understood over here in this particular course, right? So entire setup, right? How do you set it up? How do you configure it? And how do you connect the logs to it? And all these things would be included in these particular practical when it comes to EDR, right? At the same time, there are practicals that include, pushing. So whenever we are talking about analyzing logs, from an indigenous point of view, that's fine. But we'll be also understanding that how do you push logs from a SIM perspective, right? So what all you can push from into a SIM, right? Wherein again we can use Wazoo or Elasticsearch or Splunk, basically whatever is convenient, whatever is feasible, and whatever has a majority of the interest from the audience can be utilized for the same. Okay, my specific target would be Wazoo and Elasticsearch. Okay, we can use QRadar, we can use Splunk as well, right? We can cover little aspects of all the SIM solution. So at least four of them I can basically include in this, be it QRadar, Splunk, Vasu, and Elk Stack. Okay, again, but one thing to be noted over here: don't consider this to be an SIM course. Okay, so we won't be covering the entire SIM. So that is one thing I would like to clear. Now, module 7 will be understanding IDS and IPS. You will be utilizing Snort, Surikata, all these kind of tooling systems that are there to understand its importance. Again, why IDS and IDS is important. So, in every module, if you see, there will be a section of why and how. The reason being is, again, it is important to have that theoretical aspect. Now, there are questions I can see hands risen. I'll be coming to that. Just give me a minute or two. Okay. Module 18 will be the module pertaining towards network security policies. Okay. So we all are aware of security policies, right? But here we'll be specifically focusing upon network security policies as a whole. Okay. So how do you understand a network security policy? What are the different types? What are the hierarchies? How do you ensure that you are developing a best network security policy out there, right? So all the points that we'll be covering in all the modules so far, incorporating all of those learnings, incorporating all of that understandings, we'll be covering module 8 to come up with an ideal security policy for network security. Okay, so that was an overall overview about the entire course that I would be covering. Now, again, like before I come to the question sides of it, when it comes to how these things would be carried out. So these things, as you all are aware, would be taken up in the form of live classes, wherein the recordings would be provided for sure. At the same time, just to give it a more uh, enhanced learning experience, I'll just quickly show you one thing as well. So at the same time, we'll be also ensuring that we are providing you appropriate content in form of notes, okay, for your understanding. So let's say module 7, if I open up, right? So when we talk about host security, we have theoretical notes, we have practicals. Now again, these notes and practicals are not just limited to whatever we'll be doing in the class. So it's not something that we'll be sticking up to only these much of practicals. Not at all. There will be certain places where the
Hi, Umesh.
practicals are there.
I think your
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible, guys? Hello, am I audible, guys, now? Cool. I guess someone was trying to say something. Probably I was not audible. Okay, so just do let me know if I have missed out somewhere or from where you guys left me, right? I hope that till module 18 you all were there with me. If not, just do let me know. Okay. Now, after explaining like in brief, like on a surface level, that what all we will be covering up in these modules, I was just mentioning about that we will be having a touch upon practical notes along with the recordings. So it's not just only the recordings would be provided, but you guys would also be getting access to these kind of well designed notes as well as the practicals. Now, as I was mentioning, that one thing you need to understand that the practicals are not just limited to these that are mentioned over here. Okay, now there might be certain scenarios wherein the practicals from here which we are not covering, from a standpoint, because they are easy and can be self done, and there will be certain areas, there will be certain topics where we are covering practicals which are not mentioned over here, but we are performing in it. Okay, so just don't keep yourself or your thought process restricted to that. Okay, these practical docs are the only ones that you'll be covering. No, not at all. So there would be variations in the practicals, right? The content, the size, the security side of content keeps on changing, right? So whatever would be the latest and the most appropriate methodology for showing up a particular practical, I would like to touch upon that particular concept rather than basically just following up a doc, right? So I mean, the doc is for the purpose to give you an idea. Even like let's say if you want to quickly go through or if you want to do some small easy peasy stuff, then yes, these would be helpful for you. But apart from that, again, like along with the practicals notes, there will be certain practicals which I'll be covering which are not part of these curriculum. There will be certain practicals which we won't be performing in the class which are a part of this curriculum, because I expect that particular set of practicals to be done from the audience to make it more interactive, right? So any doubts so far, or basically I just want to understand that where did you guys lose me, right? Was there any particular module where there was some confusion, or which any of the module which you want to know about, or from where did I basically stopped, right? From where the distortion came into place. But overall, if you just see, I have basically given you an entire idea about how we would be working upon things, uh, what all tools, technologies we would be understanding, we would be utilizing, right? So this course, now if you ask me, right, so this course I cannot say it as an expert level course. So somewhere this course is targeting towards the audience, focusing towards CND kind of a content, right? We have EC Council Certified Network Defender, right? Somewhere that kind of course content, audience targeting that or even more than that, can expect this particular course to be in their bucket list, right? Wherein we are understanding about network fundamentals, network architecture, pertaining to that, all of these areas, right? So again, if you are someone who are looking forward to learn a specific solution, a specific SIM solution, no, this course is not for that, right? uh, by this I hope you guys have understood, based upon the topics that I have touched upon so far, that what are the type of content or what are the type of practicals and theoretical contents that you guys should expect from this particular course, right? So let me know. I'm open up for any questions so far. No, so that after the questions we can move on to the fee structure and all those kind of, when the batches would be starting. Anyone, any questions so far? Like you are even open to provide your feedback about the demo, like if you think that I went too fast or too slow, right? That's all up to you.
Hi, Uvesh. Till now, I think is good.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, the entire agenda of the course is give you a proper visibility over different solutions and tool sets, specifically to network security. Now, but again, one point I want to include, guys, that not just network, you guys can see that we are covering EDR, SIM aspects as well, because again, network is not just setting up a firewall and it's done. Basically, we
Yeah.
in this particular course we are trying to build up the blocks over here to understand that how the underlying infrastructure is working as a whole.
Okay, that's fine.
Cool. Yeah, Sarvar, you have like Fayaz, you have any questions?
No, no. I still I have no any questions.
Amazing. Cool. One thing I want to make it very clear, guys, that
Yeah.
on this particular course, at least, okay, we are not expecting
Okay.
to include much of the cloud infrastructure, okay, because you guys are aware, right? I'm not sure, but I guess most of you guys are from a working industry. Not, I'm not just saying for cybersecurity, but you guys would be working at least be an administrator or a Linux system admin or something, right? But one thing you need to understand that cloud has its own set of aspects. So if you go out into the industry, Azure has a separate 30-hour course, AWS has a separate 60-hour course, right? How in depth the
Mhm.
cloud is today. So I mean we are not targeting to cover cloud topics in it, because we have our own cloud set of courses with SIEM Intelligence, right? But still, wherever it would be possible, we'll try to include some of the ideas or key takeaways from the cloud as well. Cool. Uh, well, I'll just wait a minute or two more just to let you guys ask any questions or something like that. And it's fine, right? Absolutely all right. Even if you have questions later after this particular demo session, you can absolutely get in touch with the team and they'll be helping you to connect with me directly if you are directly want to interact or something like that in pertaining to the course content or something. You can directly get in touch with me. So I guess the team have already dropped in the details in the chat section. As you can see, there is a WhatsApp number. Again, the content that I have presented from my perspective is again on the present on the website. You can download the PDF from there, right? Coming up to the further parts, so yes, recordings would be provided to you. For that, there would be a formal NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and all these things would you would require to sign to ensure that both of us, the company and you have a smooth learning experience, right? We will be having recordings, we will be having Q&A sessions, right? So the target would be to dedicate at least one session every 14 no, every week, let's say, on Q&A specifically. Depends on how what pace we go and what practicals we cover, right? Coming to the joining details, you can again get in touch with the team, but if you want me to just tell out the joining details, so we have a batch starting from tomorrow, that is 26th of June, and the timings for the same would be 10 to 11 p.m. in the evening.
Hi, Uvesh. I have one question here. Which SIM tool you are using here?
Which SIM tool we would be using here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, like for SIM tool, we are not restricting ourselves to a particular SIM solution. Again, there are two reasons for
Okay.
that. Number one, we are not learning about only a specific SIM solution, right? Because if you go through our website, right, there are separate courses for SIM solutions. Like there is a separate course for Splunk entirely. There is a separate course for QRadar entirely, right? That is when we are
Okay.
trying to cover entire SIM solution from an end to end. But over here, we are targeting security as a network infrastructure as a whole, right? So
Okay.
we
Okay.
would be using certain SIM aspects of it and not the entire SIM aspects. But just to give you a direct answer to your question, we would be using Wazoo, we would be using Elastic on a major role over here. Again, as I
Okay.
said,
Okay.
that based upon the your interest, like whosoever the if you are if, let's say you are the audience, right? Based upon your
Yep.
curiosity and interest, if required, we can touch upon Splunk and QRadar as well.
That's fine.
Cool. Okay. So guys, I guess so far all good, all set, right? And I'm expecting all of you into be in the particular batch of network defense professional course, right? In case if you still have some doubts regarding the fee structure, the clarity regarding the timings and all, you can definitely get in touch with the team and they'll be happy to help.
Sure, definitely.
Okay, so I guess we are good to conclude the demo session. Anyways, it's Sunday evening for all of us, and I don't want you guys later to come to me saying that okay, a Sunday evening was spoiled, right? So you can carry on with your family and other plans that you could have. Again, from Monday, from tomorrow, we'll be busy in our own corporate life, right? So
Yeah.
I am expecting you to see in the particular session from tomorrow. Okay. Have a
Okay.
great Sunday ahead, everyone. Thank you so much.
Same to you. Thank you so much, sir.